Hey, Trojan family, what's going on? Welcome back to the USC LAFB show here on the LAFB network. I'm your host, Ryan Dyrud. Hope everyone is doing well. Quick coaching update here. As of yesterday, the Dallas Cowboys have made their hire for their defensive line coach. Coach Henny was interviewed and seen as one of the top candidates potentially for that job. The Cowboys ultimately decide to hire Marcus Dixon, who was the defensive line coach for the Minnesota Vikings most recently. So, Coach Henny staying put, rightfully so, with USC. I think this is great news for USC, and hopefully continue on with Coach Henny's maturation as a coach, and hopefully he will see that elevation soon. As I said, I believe it was yesterday, I did not foresee him leaving unless there was just a unbelievable pay raise Dallas was going to give him, because this wasn't really a promotion. It was a lateral move. And so unless his true desire, which it might be, is to ultimately get back to the NFL, to me, it would have made more sense anyway to stay at USC, continue what he started, especially in the recruiting ranks. He'll finally really have his recruits in the system. You remember this 25 class with Jakeem Stewart and Floyd Boucard and, so on and so forth, but really his first initial group of guys that he brought in. Because when he was hired in 24 after the Rams playoff game, recruiting season was already done. So kind of he inherited, inherited some older guys from the portal. And then really that next offseason was when he's able to hit the ground running. And so this has been his only second true offseason. We saw what he was able to do with the 26 class. And now if we can see the implementation of the development with the likes of Floyd Boucard, Jakeem Stewart, so on and so forth, I think it is good for him in his coaching growth. I think it's his best path to move up, whether that is at SC and eventually take over the DC spot for maybe Gary Patterson one day, or if it is him getting a DC job in college. I just think that will happen quicker than him going back to the NFL as a defensive line coach, where he was with the Rams for many, many years and got passed over by the Rams for DC jobs. Not saying that would have happened in Dallas, but I just think, in my opinion, maybe there's some biases, but I just think he has a better path at USC anyway. So not sure what the reason. I'm not sure if Dallas just decided to go somewhere else or if he was actually offered and he decided to stay. But ultimately, as of now, he will remain with USC, and Dallas Cowboys will hire Marcus Dixon. Ironically enough, Marcus Dixon was Coach Henny's assistant defensive line coach with the Rams back in 2021. When they were both with the Rams, Henny was the D-line coach. Dixon was his assistant for one season. Then Dixon went on to the Broncos, and then most recently with the Vikings, and now he will be down in Dallas. So, I would suspect that is the end of it. I would suspect now the defensive staff is set, is in place. Now, that being said, there are still NFL teams continuing to round out their staffs. You have the Raiders, who will be hiring Clint Kubiak at the conclusion of the Super Bowl. So that has, obviously that staff has not even begun to be formed because Clint Kubiak is coaching in the Super Bowl. So there is a shot, depending on what Kubiak does for his DC position. Maybe he even interviews Coach Henny for DC. And whoever, if it's not Henny, whoever he brings in, maybe there's a chance that they interview Henny for one of the position coaches. And with Arizona, you look at, they just announced their hire of Mike LaFleur from the Rams OC. Will he look to potentially Coach Henny for his staff? So not totally out of the water yet. I feel like those units will maybe go in a different direction. So I feel like it is safer, but it needs to be said. I've seen others out there kind of saying it's done. He's here to stay. Like, there may still be some opportunities there in the NFL that we've still kind of got to sit on our seat for a couple more weeks now, but we are closely nearing the end of this. And so as of now, your defensive staff headlined by Gary Patterson, and you've got Coach Henny as the D-line, and I would assume he will kind of keep, I don't know if he'll keep the co-DC title. I don't know if that's been announced or not. If he does stay, I would think he would, but regardless, would probably be the run game coordinator. You got Coach Nua as your edge edge outside backer coach. You got Mike Eckler now as your true linebackers coach with Rob Ryan in an analyst role. Paul Gonzalez hired in from Baylor as your defensive backs / secondaries coach, and Trevon Reed remaining as your cornerbacks coach. With Sam Carter, we assume will be given the safeties coach title, but that has not officially been announced. It just has been said he is coming in on the defensive staff with a role. So we will see if that is a different role, an assistant role, but seemingly, he was a cornerbacks coach at a number of places, including Purdue, and most recently was the safeties coach at Louisiana Tech. So I would assume he would keep that same trajectory title, but I'll let you know that's officially announced. So as of now, that is your defensive staff. And so like I said, not completely out of the woods yet, but I believe that Coach Henny will be back and returning, and hopefully we can now just turn the page. But we'll hold our breaths for a couple more weeks. It's Super Bowl week. We've got some LAFB people out in San Francisco, out on Radio Row, kind of breaking that down. Obviously, the Seattle Trojans out there with Sam Darnold and Leonard Williams and others. So we'll have some content on that. But until that is wrapped up, and until the Raiders staff, the Cardinals staff, and even some of the other team, there was 10 new coaching changes, so a lot of those staffs are not fully complete yet. We are not fully closing the door or fully closing the book, I guess, on this staff remaining completely intact. But I would say 92% confident that this is your defensive staff, which I think is great for USC in a pivotal year. So that's the latest on that. We'll have plenty more to break down, but just wanted to jump on. I know that happened yesterday, so that will be the latest update on Coach Henny and where he currently stands with USC. So I'll have some other recruiting stuff coming out later. I'll be back in Los Angeles tomorrow, so we'll be back to our more usual scheduled video production schedule. So I apologize for being kind of all over the place, but we'll be back tomorrow in Los Angeles. So appreciate you, family. Hit that like and subscribe button. Let's keep this thing rolling. We are almost at 8,000. We're getting close. We can smell it. 8,000 subs. I remember before Christmas, I was like, man, if we get to 7,000 subs, incredible. We're almost at 8,000 now. Blew past that. So if you haven't and you like our content, please hit that like and subscribe. It not only lets you get updated more frequently when we publish, but it just helps us out in terms of growth and getting our videos kind of pushed out more to see. So appreciate you, family. As always, fight on. Hey, Trojan family, thank you so much for hanging out and watching the USC LAFB show. Before you go, let me tell you quickly about our friends over at Sleeper. Go right now, download the Sleeper app. It's the #1 sports app, not just for season-long fantasy, but they've got live pickers, they've got live stat updates, they've got a chat that you can chat with other users, plus the daily pick'em, which is a blast, or daily fantasy, whatever you want to call it. You go and pick 2 to 8 players across any sports. If you're talking USC, go choose Jade Mayava in his next matchup. Pick more or less passing yards, more or less touchdowns. You stack those, and you can win real money. When you go to make your first deposit, make sure you use our promo code USCLAFB. You're going to get a match deposit up to $100. Put in $100, you get $100 free to play with from Sleeper. Put in $10, they'll match you that $10, so now you're sitting at $20 to play with. But also, right now, for any new users, no deposit required. You get $20 free entry. You can stack both. You can get the $20 for free, go make a deposit, use USC LAFB, and now you've got a bunch of free money to play with right there on the Sleeper app. Check it out, Trojan family, and when you do, tell them the guys at the USC LAFB sent you.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.